morning. I believe we are here. How's everyone doing this morning? We're going to learn a new template today. This is new to me as well. So we're going to learn this one together. First, I want to say good morning to Joyce out in Arizona and my friend Linda from New York and Debbie from Glendale. And Jean is here from New York and Carla from Oklahoma. And it seems like I just had talked to you all last night. Oh, goodness. I am so appreciative that you came back to meet up with me this morning as well. So let's go ahead and go over the puzzle template by Donna McCauley Quilting. This the puzzle template comes in a two-piece set. And you can see the smaller one here is just half of the template, whereas the larger one is the whole template. So let's take a look at the templates and some of the markings on them. Okay. Okay. The things that are important is the vertical center line, and then we've got a couple of, well, we've got 4 actually, and they're basically, if our needle was where it belongs, it's gonna be almost a 90-degree angle here. And we have here all of the lining up, um, areas for us within the template. We're going to obviously stitch these different. So I'm going to set that one aside for now. And let's take a look at the big one. And this one is 3.5 by 5 inches. Needle channel, yay! I love needle channels, absolutely love them. Okay, Joyce, it's easier to remember to watch that this is now at 7 a.m. instead of 6. You're right. Arizona does not change time. Deanna is here from Oregon. Good morning, Deanna, and good morning, Lee. You made it this morning. So nice to see you. So what we have on our larger template, our 3.5 by 5 inch, is we have a vertical and a horizontal crosshair or center line. Okay. And again, we have all of these beautiful stitches outlined here for us to move along. So I've got my staple tape on the back. I do not need staple tape on both sides because this template we're not going to be flipping over. If you remember last night, while we were doing our curly cues, that our feathers is another one, our hearts is another one, that I like to put the stable tape on both sides because we do like to flip those templates. These we won't need to. So let's take a look next at how we're going to mark our fabric for these guys. Okay, and what I've got here is I've got this set up with the reveal fabric. Okay, so I've got my quilt sandwich, my backing, my batting, and my reveal fabric. I then have a layer of Templey Fuse on here, and here's my top fabric. Now for the smaller size, which is the half one, which is 2.5 by 3.5 inch finished. What we need is a 2-inch grid, okay? For the larger size, which is the 3.5 by 5, we need a 3-inch grid. They're both stitched out very differently, And I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and start with the small one this morning. So let's take a look at all of these beautiful directions that Donna has put together for us. And this is the 2.5 by 3.5. So what you're going to notice is we are going to stitch from left to right across the grid. And we're going to put a half of a design, half of a puzzle piece facing right side up, upside down, right side up, upside down. Then we're going to move up to the second line and we are going to reverse. Okay, so if we have an upside down on the first line, we're going to have a right side up on the second line. This one is very easy to go ahead and and to stitch. And then we also are going to need to know where we are going to back stitch to, okay? Because we do need to back stitch to get onto the next rotation. So let's go ahead and start here. Make sure you guys can see everything. Okay. Oh, we've had some new people come in. Avril and Susie, good morning. And Linda's here from Michigan, my fellow Michigander. Evelyn, so nice to see you. Joey is here from Encidad. En- Okay, I know how to say it. It's just not coming out this morning, Joey. I apologize. Good morning, Kathy. And Joyce says it's actually 6 a.m. in Fairfield, California. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Um, Joyce says, can you tell I'm not a morning person? I don't know very many of us that really like mornings, but we're here. That's what matters, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to line this up. And the way I'm going to line it up is this line, this vertical line, and this vertical line will be on the 2-inch grid line. That's this line and this line. Okay. And then we are going to line up this horizontal line right on the horizontal line on our 2-inch grid. Okay. So what's going to happen here is we are going to start at this point here, and we're going to start at this point here, and we're going to stitch around and around and around and come down here, and then we are going to stitch back to this point up here. Okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn our template and everything should line up upside down. Okay, let's go ahead and stitch this out. Now, in case I didn't mention this actually is my first time stitching this template out. Um, Normally I practice before I come on, but what I wanted to do with this one is I wanted to see how easy it would be to actually learn how to stitch this out. So I made a very conscious decision, probably a dangerous one, to stitch it out for the first time with you all. Okay, so now we're gonna go. There, we've got our needle in. Now let me make sure that you can see this well. I'm gonna move this down just a bit, okay? I think you're gonna get a better view of it that way. Okay, we're gonna come on up here. There we go. I'm going to put my threads under my template. All right, I'm going to turn this way because what I want you to see is exactly how I'm lining this up. So I've got my foot right in this little area here, and I have my vertical lines where A and B are, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch all the way around and come back to B. Okay, take that one stitch in place. Oh goodness, guess what I didn't do, guys? I did not double check my foot height. Here we go. So far, so good. What I'm finding is this is not too difficult to go around these curves, but you do want to take your time, especially going around these big ones here. And around we're gonna go. Now remember, we have to come back to B, okay, which is right here. Let me grab my little, there we go. There is B. So we're going to come back up to B. And stop. Needle down. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clip this thread out of our way. There we go. Now what we want to do is we want to flip our template over. And this time we're going to start at B. We're going to stitch. What we're going to do here is, here it is. And I'm going to turn it over. We're going to start at B and we are going to stitch around to our line. And then we're going to stitch back to A and flip the template over again. Okay, so let's go ahead. And we don't want to close this little area that we have going on. My template slipped a little. There we go. And around. And coming back down here. And I'm going to stop here because I want to talk about this. We do not want to close this area up right here because what we have is we have half of the puzzle piece. And if we close this off, we're actually going to be dissecting the puzzle piece. And we don't want to do that. We just want to keep on going. So we're going to come back to A. And we're going to stop on A. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn. There we go. We're going to turn our template. Now, what I'm noticing here is I'm running into a problem with lining up. And I can easily see why. The reason I am is my grid. When I did the 2-inch grid, I did not take into account the width or dimension that I would gain on each line with my grid lines. Okay, so as you can see, the A line here is lining up perfectly. And let me get you just a little closer here. Okay, there we go. And there we are. Okay, so when I line up my A, the line is actually over just a hair. So I'm going to go ahead and move that back. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a little extra space in here. I really don't want that space. So when we go ahead and draw our grid lines, we want to make sure that we take into account this area of dimension right here, which does not seem like a lot, but once we start adding this up, it's going to be huge by the time we get to the end, okay? And before we leave today, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we can do that. In the meantime, I want to say hello to a few people that I missed. Lisa. Okay. I just lost my cord there for a second. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try this again, guys. Lisa is here from Sugarland, Texas, and Cactus Deb's doing well. Dana's here from Naples, Florida. Good morning. Di's here. Oh, good. She's on Facebook sometimes, Di. I'm not really sure how the comments work. Okay. Lois is here from Delaware, and our birthday girl. Yes, today is Wanda's birthday. Good morning and happy birthday, Wanda. Such a beautiful woman. She really is. You guys, I am so much better off for knowing her. Okay, Carla asked, has anybody checked Facebook? No, that is something I have not done yet. And Deborah is here from California. Oh, there we go. We're all here. Awesome. Okay. So as I was saying, let's go back and take a look at how we're going to line this up. And if I line this up so that my line is on my grid, you'll see that I'm off a little bit over here. Now, the question is, would I rather be off of the grid a little bit and have the integrity of the design intact? My answer to that is yes. I am going to try to keep that way. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to come back down. I am starting at A. I have my template right side up if I'm stitching from the bottom. And you can see that it's becoming easier to do with each rotation. And this is why we practice, girls. We want to make sure that when we get this on our quilt, we want it looking the best we can. And we're going to come around. And now we're going to come all the way down and we're going to travel back to B. My initial thoughts on this template, I really like it. And I'm going to stop at B. It's not difficult. It really is not. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to rotate my template again. And you can see how we're coming along. It's starting to show now, right? And hey, Kathy. Good morning, Gwen. Awesome. So good to see you here. Okay, so we're going to start at B. Going to come up all the way around and back to A. Okay, I am lining these guys up. Right now, I'm more or less ignoring my grid, and there's a good reason for that. We're going to cover that in a little bit. Okay, so here's one you gotta be careful of. It's real easy to go off of these sharp corners like this. There we go. I'm glad we're doing this together like this because it's good for you to see that it takes us as educators, it takes us a couple of practice times to get a new template down pat. This is not something we were born with. It really isn't. And we don't learn as much. Okay, we do learn from watching, but we learn a lot more from doing. And my foot just let loose again. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten that down just a hair. There we go. And around. There we go. That's nice. Feels much better. And I'm going to stop at A. And I'm going to make one more turn, starting again at A. And I'm dropping things here. And this will be the last one. So I'm going to come down to the bottom. Remember, we're going to travel. What we do not want to do, oh, what happened here? What we don't want to do is we don't want to close up that area. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Because if we close up that area, it's going to cut our puzzle piece in half. And now we're going to come. Now, I do not need to stitch up to B again. Okay? Because stitching up to B is really not going to help us to start our second row. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this out. There we go. And here's our first row. What do you think? It's looking good so far, isn't it? It's definitely looking like puzzle pieces. Oh, Gwen, so nice to see you. Kathy, it's a little chilly today for you, right? And Carol is here from New York. So nice to see you. Linda is here from New Jersey. So nice to have you too. Susie says she likes this design. I do too, Susie. I am anxious now to get the second row on. So how we are going to do that is we are going to, okay, what we want is we want this row to meet up with the row previous. And then when we twist our templates, what's going to happen is we're going to stop here and finish out that particular design. So where I'm lining up, okay, I am lining up these two lines, the one by A and the one by B, and those are vertical lines, and I'm lining those up on my vertical grid lines. I am lining up this horizontal line on my horizontal grid line. Okay, but what I'm noticing is that this is going to be way too deep. Okay. What we want is we want this to be 1/4 of an inch because we want these fellas here, we want these fellas here to, to just, okay, never mind. Okay, we're going to the side this time. Let me double check. Okay, well, let's start here. Okay, so we're going to come up and down, and then we are going to, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, let's figure this out. We got this. We got this. What's going to happen here is we are going to make this row, we're going to have a horizontal, a vertical, horizontal, and vertical. And what you can see, and it's hard to see on this first one because it's cut off. Here is our horizontal puzzle piece, and here is our vertical. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that horizontal puzzle piece. And the way we are going to get that in is going to be just like this. Now, what we've got here is we already have half of this motif stitched out. So we can start here, come around to this point here, then we're going to go ahead and turn this up. And let's see how this is gonna work, okay, guys? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna come here. Okay, that is correct. So let's go ahead and put this one in. And there we go. And I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up, put this down, and the line, my vertical is now become my horizontal line. Okay, and here we go. And we're going to stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this thread off. And now what we're going to do is we are going to rotate our template And what you're gonna see is everything lines up here, okay? So let's go ahead. We're going to stitch all the way around. Then what we're going to do is all around here. We are traveling now. There's our A. We're coming down off of that. And we're going to come down and around here. There's our B. Now we want to come back around and we're going to stop at B. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to rotate. There we go. I'm going to get my spacing gauge here. Oops, no, it's got to go this way. There we go. We're going to go ahead and line those lines up. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're lined up properly. And come down here a quarter of an inch because we want these two to meet. And here we go. There we go. And back down. And we'll come around here to B. And I got off a little bit, and the reason that that happened is because of the way that my lines are. But we're coming around here perfectly. Oh, I guess we're not, guys. Okay, I'm holding it in the wrong direction. Okay, I see now what I'm doing wrong. I apologize for that. This is the true way we learn, okay? So this has to be put on this direction. All right. And yep. So what we want is this is going to go this direction. Then we want to bring the second half over in this direction. We've already got the first half done. Now, I'm going to start back over here. Let's pull those up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to finish this top. We're going to start here. For all the jigsaw puzzles I put together, you would think that I would have these shapes down pat, right? Uh, and quite honestly, guys, I'm not upset that you're seeing me struggle with this because I want you to know that, yeah, we have our challenges too when we're learning new templates. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to learn it right along with you this morning. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to come around, and what we're doing here is we are finishing that first puzzle piece. Okay, I'm going to take the template out because I want you to see this. Come on, you. Okay, so here's our first puzzle piece. And that's the way puzzle pieces are going to look. Now, what we want is this one is going to clip in this direction. So we've already got this portion of it put in, but we need to travel over here and come around to this section right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and travel and see how well I lined that up. Not too bad. And we're going to stop here. Now we're just going to flip this around and everything lines up, and we're going to stitch down to B. Okay. And we're going to stop at B. Okay. So here we've got it. Here is our puzzle pieces. And I just dropped my stiletto. Go figure. Okay, so there we go. Here is our puzzle pieces. Now to put the next one together. Okay, let's see how you. Oh, hey, Janice, good to see you. Lorna's here from England. Welcome. And Linda, oh, from New Jersey. How awesome. And Susie likes this design. I'll bet you like it better, Susie, when I do it correctly. Oh, you can't see where I'm pointing. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. I'm gonna pull you back and up. Okay, so here we've got our puzzle pieces. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do the third row because this is row one, this is row two. So row three, what we want is we want this part of our puzzle piece be like this. No, we don't. We want it, what we're going to have next. Let me get my pen out, okay? There it is. So we've got an upside and we've got a sideways. So because this is an upside down, this one will be sideways. So it will go like this. Okay. So let's go ahead and start that one next. This is row three. And what I'm lining up here is this is my previously stitched line. This is my previously stitched line. So I can start here and come around, or I can just go ahead and start at A. And that's what I'm going to do because I've already got everything else stitched. We're going to go ahead and pull that thread up and at A. Put my foot back down. And there goes my needle. Remember, I'm at A now. This is a 2-inch grid. And I'm going to go all the way around. I want to make sure you guys can see me well. There we go. Nice and easy around those big long cliffs here, okay? There we go. Nice and easy. And there we go. So this is my first half of this horizontal puzzle piece. And I'm going to get this thread out of the way. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to turn my puzzle piece. That's all I have to do on this one. Okay. And I want to make sure that I end up right where I need to be on B here. And it looks like it's going to be perfect. And here we go. Again, watching that we don't fall off of that cliff. And we don't want to fall off of this one, so we want to shorten or slow ourselves down just a little bit. And there we go. And we're going to come over and stop at B. Okay. So here is our next horizontal puzzle piece. So we have the horizontal, the vertical, and the horizontal. In this, our next one, we have vertical, horizontal. So this one needs to be vertical, okay? And it is going to be, where do we need to come back on this one? Now, guys, I am confusing myself here. Okay, I think what I need to do is come back up. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring myself back up to here. Let me turn this horizontal, so this one needs to be vertical. So this has to fall on B. And we just rotate that template. And we're good over here, but we need to get over here. So we're going to need to do some traveling. Now we're going to come around and we're going to travel. We're going to get to A. And we're going to stop at A. Yep, we're going to come back to A. And we're going to stop here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to again rotate our template, come down here. We're going to come back and travel because we don't want to cut off that puzzle piece. Let's see. There we go. and come across here. And we're going to stop at the bottom of the horizontal or the center of the horizontal piece. Okay, so here's our horizontal. This will be our horizontal, and this is going to be our vertical. Okay, I think the easiest way to remember this is that every other one will be horizontally oriented and every other one will be vertically oriented. Okay. Um, okay, Deborah has a question. Okay, let's back up just a little bit so that I can say hi to Audrey. Debbie says, Cactus Deb, as we like to call her, can't wait to try this. It's one of the first sets she bought when she started learning to quilt, and it looks like fun. Thank you, Deb. It is fun. I love learning with you, Kathy. It actually helps me build confidence. Thank you so much, Debbie. That is just one of the nicest things you could ever say, because that's what I like to do is hopefully give you guys a little more confidence. Even when I'm showing you that I'm struggling, it's okay. I'm fine with that. As instructors, we're not perfect and we have to learn also. And like I said, it's one of the reasons that I did not practice this one before we started this morning. Diane, good morning from Massachusetts. Nan, good morning all the way from Sweden. So good to see you. Marcy says those cliffs get her every time. And you know what? It's so easy to do. Okay, so Deborah asked, and this is a really, really good question. You said that they're 2-inch squares. How do you determine the size? Deborah, we determine the size because they've already been predetermined for us by the designer, Donna McCauley. So the small puzzle piece takes a 2-inch grid. The large puzzle piece is going to take a 3-inch grid. And I'm going to show you that next. Okay. All right. I think we finally got this down. Okay, which is really cool. I really like this. Now, to get the large one is a little bit different as far as stitching it. So what we cannot do is we can't just come in and stitch it and then flip it and stitch it again. But Donna has set aside a thread path for us. Okay. And I want to show you the thread path. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start and we're going to go in and make a portion of the template. And that is going to be just like this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here, come down here, and stop here, come back, and stop right here. Okay, so that's going to be the first stitching we're going to do. And let's eat this elephant one step at a time, okay? This is a 3-inch grid, and I'm going to start right here. I am lining up my template, vertical, vertical, and horizontal lines. I'll go ahead and turn this around because it'll be easier to see that horizontal line, okay? There we go. All we're going to do is this portion first, and then we're going to come back and end up right there. Let me pull my bobbin thread up. There we go. There we go. I'm ready. I'm gonna get some of these wires out of my way. You wouldn't believe the wires and stuff I got here, but it's good. Taking my first stitch in place. I'm gonna go nice and slow because I do not want to fall off of this clip. I'm just gonna put my finger here to make sure that it doesn't flip up too high on me. And I'm gonna come around, up, and come back. And stop again right here. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this thread. Now what we're going to do, this is step 2. We are going to move our template down in this orientation right here. Okay, so we started up here and now we're going to move it down here. And you're going to notice everything is going to line up. And here's our previously stitched line, lining up beautiful. And we are going to stitch from here all the way around, and we're going to stop here. And you can see this is exactly the thread path that's stitched out for us on the example. Okay, make sure I'm lined up, which I am. And we're going to come around. Careful not to fall off of those cliffs. I'm gonna keep going. There we are. Remember, we're gonna stop at the next corner-ish. Okay, so we are now going to stop right here. There we go. So what we have just stitched is this line of stitching right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that. We're going to move our template down and to the right. We're going to line up those horizontal vertical lines. You'll see back here, if you can, I'm not sure if you can see real well, our previous line of stitching is underneath that line right there. So let's go ahead. We're going to stitch again. We're going to repeat. And I want to make sure I'm all lined up nicely. There we go. And around those cliffs. I'm finding this one to be easier than the half size. And what you're going to notice here is no traveling. I love that. Traveling isn't the worst thing in the world, but if we can avoid it, I like to. And I'm going to move everything down one more time. What I want to do is, again, I want to show you where we're going. So we've just stitched this one. So now we're going to stitch the next one. Okay. And that's going to be our last one, lining up vertical and horizontal. And around we're gonna go. What I like about this one is it gives us some really great opportunities. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one off on the bottom here. It gives us some really awesome template opportunities. Okay, so this is the whole template I am doing here. And ending up where I started. There we go. Let's take a look at this, okay? Okay, so here's our whole piece. So now what we want to do is we want to come back and we want to finish these coming backwards on a diagonal. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We are going to put our template. So where we stopped here, we are going to, oops, wrong one. We're going to put our template here. Now, what the big thing is, this is going to be a horizontal, this is going to be a vertical. So if I'm going to make this vertical, I need to be here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I am going to stop at this point and flip my template again. At least that's what I think I'm going. Yep. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be my horizontal, and you'll see it's already half made for me. Just going to flip it and come over on it in this direction. And come up. And all the way up here, and we're going to stop at that corner. There we go. Now we need this one to be, okay, I want to show you how we just finished this one. So now this one we want to be a vertical. And in order to make it vertical, this is how we need to line it up. We're going to line up on our, where did it go? There it is. Here's our vertical line here, and here's our horizontal line. and we are going to stitch to here, okay? And on we go, nice and smooth. And we're going to stop right here. Okay, so we now need to finish up this horizontal puzzle piece. So we just rotate our template. Make sure I'm getting you guys in here nice. Do we Hi, Pat from Western Illinois. Oh, Jeannie's here from Washington. Hello. Okay, Deborah got that. Okay. We were able to answer Deborah's question, which is always a good thing. Okay, and we're going to go up here, and we're going to come around to the top, and we're going to stop right there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and break thread and cut my bobbin thread. There we go. And so what you'll see here is that we have got one diagonal row of puzzle pieces. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put in another diagonal row. So where I'm going to, whoa, got a whole lot of thread there. So where I need to get myself to is right here. So that when I come around, what you'll see is I need to come up and around it this way, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to keep going. Where each of our one rotation is horizontal, the next one's going to be vertical. Okay, so I've got myself here, and I'm going to start down here. Make sure I'm lined up on my previous lines of stitching. Pull my bobbin thread up. Okay, and I'm going to come back up and stop right here. Oops, I went one stitch too far. There we go. Perfect. And again, oh, I like to get these threads out of the way. Okay. Now we are going to start here. And we're going to come down and end here. All the way around. And we're just going to repeat these two rows over, or these diagonal rows, I'm sorry, over and over again. And perfect. Oh, I love it when something works out good. Okay, and you'll see how easy it is to know if we are in the right place because all of this is already stitched out for us. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one row off for you. And then I want to talk real quickly about drawing out the grid. Okay, careful not to fall off those cliffs. And here we go. And this is a rather large template. And I think if I were in a position to take my time, I would likely spend more time. Actually, I don't need to do that one. I would like to spend more time going around just kind of trying to hurry a little bit here because of time with us. Okay, so here is what we've got. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I'm loving it. Okay, guys, for the first time doing this, I think this one turned out perfect. I still need to work on this smaller one. Okay, but that's part of what we do. So, what I saw done, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was that did it. They actually had a panel underneath the top fabric and intermittently templated some of the puzzle pieces. And you know what? I have been absolutely mesmerized by that. And I think that it was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. So what I wanna do is because I did put Template Fuse on the back here, and I do have a reveal fabric under here, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut one for you. Let's take a look at how easy these are to cut to template. Remember, when we template, we want to leave a little bit of fabric so that our template fuse can fuse everything down and then we won't live in fear of fraying. Oh, that's one of the worst fears in life. Okay, make sure we got you here. And I'm doing this kind of quickly. What I do normally is I will take my templing to the lazy boy with me and while we're watching TV. Now, the only thing is you have to be paying attention more to the template than the TV. So what you do is you let your husband pick whatever he wants to watch that night. And then you can concentrate on this. Okay. And I have my Template Fuse on here. And I love how this looks. The puzzle pieces, this is not difficult to template. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And I'm just going to go down. I like to hold up the fabric that I'm cutting away, but what I want you to know when I'm holding it up, I'm not pulling on it. If you pull on it, it's going you stand a real good chance of getting some fraying going on in there, and you don't want that. And there we go. That little piece there. And okay, I'll just cut that much for now. And you guys can see how cool these little puzzle pieces cut out. Isn't that adorable? I absolutely love it. Now, I do want to cover the crosshair, okay? Because what will happen is if I'm trying to make it, I'm just going to make a 1 inch here, okay? So here's my first line. I'm going to come and put my ruler at 1 inch, okay? My first line is right under my 1 inch line, right? Okay, looks good. And if I hold my ruler here, it's definitely 1 inch. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do another 1 inch line. And what I'm doing each time is I am putting my drawn line right underneath the line on my ruler. I put my pen or pencil at about a 45-degree angle, like this. And what that does is it helps that line to actually be right under the edge of the ruler. What you'll see when I line this up is you don't see that inch. You don't see that mark because each one of these marks has dimension to it. And when you do the marking, if you get it right under the edge like this, what you'll see is I cannot see that line looking straight down on it, okay? But when I come and cover that line with my ruler and make the next one, I'm going to have a much more accurate 1 inch square. Now, what's going to happen is the further out you get, the more dimension you're going to get with the markings. And the reason being is if you look, the the lines that I've made are actually thicker than the line on the ruler. So with each successive line, here the line is exactly halfway. Here it's to the right of the line. So with each successive line, we're actually moving that grid line over just a hair. So when you're working on a large piece, every grid line is going to get you over just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit. So when you're making the grids, just be aware that that can happen and take your time. Use the smallest diameter marking pen or fine tip or whatever you're going to use as possible. It will help to keep your grid more true to size. And Donna McCauley has a great product that will help you with that. Okay? And what is it called? It is called, it's, it is a straight line ruler with several um, cutouts in it. Okay. And it's the DM Quilting Basic Marker. Okay. And it will give you a little more accuracy than a ruler as I did here. So that is what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Um, Yeah, Di, it is. The ruler okay, what about using a stencil? Di asked, "What about using a stencil?" If you have a stencil, that is awesome. Kate Quinn has a set of stencils, and they are awesome stencils for marking grids. So, definitely look into that. I think it's, Kate Quinn has a website out there, and, boy, I can't even remember the name of it. You guys, it's early in the morning, I can't remember anything right now. Oh, well, it is. Okay, Kim, thank you for coming in, so good to see you. Um, Anytime you have questions, guys, don't be afraid to get a hold of me. My contact information is on sewsteady.com. Fabricated quilts. Thank you, Di. Fabricated quilts is Kate's website. Don't forget if you have questions, get a hold of me, sewsteady.com, educators, and if you pull down on that, you're gonna see my mug there, which will have all my contact information. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That always goes a long way for us. And you guys are so welcome. What was it that Donna has? Marilyn, I'm not sure I understand your question. If it's the DM Quilting Basic Marker. That is the one that will help us make good grids, as well as Kate Quinn's grid set. So, yeah, it's the DMQ Basic Marker, Marilyn. Okay. And what I want to do here too is if you guys are looking to get the template set, here is the link to them. And well, thank you, Kim. Kim just put up the link for the basic marker tool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, if you have no questions, I think that should be all we have for today. Thanks for learning with me today. I really appreciate it. And until we meet again, let's quilt.